Don't you know that not listening to the Shenmue AM2 podcast is way uncool?
Welcome back to another episode of the Shenmue AM2 podcast. We're your hosts, Andrew.
And Matt.
And in this episode, we have a very, very special guest with us. Mm-hmm. We have Ryo Hazuki himself, the English dub voice actor, Corey Marshall, with us here today.
Yes, hello. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
I am doing excellent. Well, I'm here with you guys today, so it's a great day.
Oh, perfect.
Thanks.
So yeah, Corey, as we mentioned, is the voice actor for the English dub, so the North American and European Dreamcast, and then the North American Xbox. PAL Xbox is English as well, isn't it? All Xbox is English.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
And upcoming Shenmue 3.
Oh, yeah, and most importantly, upcoming Shenmue 3, yeah. We should probably touch on that. So just kind of, I guess, to start out here, Corey, just give us a little, intro about yourself, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think most of you people out there know me as the English voice actor for Shenmue, of course. But yeah, man, I've been in the business for a very long time. I've done a lot of stage work. It seems to be the bulk of my earlier years. And I've pretty much done it all in the business. You know what I mean? I maybe some of the fans know that I used to be a professional dancer. Believe that or not?
I believe it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen that music video.
Let's see. Yeah, I did some stunt work. I've done some producing in film, and yeah, I'm just all around in the business since I was a young lad. So. That's me, I love the business and I have done it all, but, it turns out that, voice acting is not only the best job that I've had, but it's also the most fun. So, yeah, I'm very happy to be coming back and doing, Shenmue 3 because, not only am I a fan of the game, but I love the work in general, so.
Nice. And I think everyone is so happy to have you back as the voice of Ryo for the English dub.
I am. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the fan reactions out there in the world were tremendous. It was very humbling. People told me some really fantastic things about how the game has affected them, and I thought, oh wow, that's great that I could be a part of something that has changed so many people's lives in a positive way. But particularly with Shenmue 3, when people kind of in a way really kind of demanded that I come back, I was just like, wow, really? Me? Oh, that okay. All right, great, thanks. You know what I mean? Like, I just a little surprised and very humbled, and I really want to thank everybody out there in the world who feels that way. It's kind of strange for me to say that, but thanks. What can I say?
Well, you're definitely a big part of it. You're like intrinsic to like my nostalgic memories of the game, so it wouldn't be the same experience without your voice.
You're literally the voice of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was when I had read that you were going to be back as a voice actor. My wife, she had to go to work on a Saturday for some reason, and I dropped her off, and when I came back to pick her up, she was just sent me a message, hey, I'm just in the elevator or whatever, and I just turned on my phone and had a Kickstarter update in my email, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, whoa, this is awesome. Like, and she got in the car and I had a big grin on my face. She's like, what's up? And I'm like, something cool just happened.
She's like, I totally don't care.
She loves it, or loves that I love it, I guess.
Yeah.
So just kind of, we'll get into the questions here, I guess.
Yeah.
At any point, did you ever think that any of this, when you just essentially applied for a job or auditioned for a job,
mm-hmm.
that this would have gotten this big.
Did like the fact that Ryo Hazuki was part of it like make you think that, hey, this is going to be a big thing?
Yes and no. I mean, I guess you always hope that a project's gonna be big, gonna be huge. You know what I mean? And then yeah, when you find out Ryo Hazuki's involved, and of course anybody who knows anything about his history and his huge success in a lot of the games that he's created some really prolific games that people just know and love out there in the world. So yeah, when you find that stuff out, you're like, oh wow, this could be something great. But at the same time, I suppose that I didn't really expect to kind of have this almost like a cult-like following of the game. You know what I mean? Where it really is. It's something else. You know what I mean? It's something special with Shenmue, and with the dedication of the fans to the game. It's not hard to see that there's a lot of games out there that just make tons of money and a lot of people love to play them, and they're it's just kind of like, I don't know, maybe they can make 4 or 5 of the same game, and it's just kind of like I kind of compare it to movies sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of really great movies out there that make a ton of money, and everybody goes and sees them. And like, yeah, I had a good time when I saw that movie. It was really great. But again, with the effect that Shenmue has on people, and this kind of long-lasting. And you mentioned it, like the nostalgia of it. It is, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna look back on this time and be like, oh man, remember the days when the Avengers came out and all this feeling that I had, and it's like, hey, I love the Avengers. The Avengers make tons of money, and I go see every single one of them. I have a fun time when I see it, but I don't have that deep feeling on the inside of like. Something when I saw when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Some of those, 80s movies that actually a lot of stuff like Stranger Things is taking advantage of now, where they're kind of pulling upon all those feelings that we had when we were kids. You know what I mean? And kind of bringing that out again, so we can kind of celebrate how we felt back then. But yeah, Shenmue's kind of like that for a lot of people, where people, see it. Feel it, react to it in a different way than they would with a lot of other games. So, yeah, I'm proud to be a part of something like that, and that's what I didn't really expect to be a part of. You know what I mean? I guess you can't really predict something like that. Like, oh, I hope that my game has a strange effect on people that makes them think, why do I love this game so much?
Yeah. I imagine it's pretty.
So
rare,
that part I couldn't predict.
I imagine it's pretty rare for somebody to go on to any project and be like, "This is going to be the next Star Wars." I just know it,
Right. Yeah, or yeah. Pick your these two are not the same, but think about something like The Princess Bride, right?
Yeah.
When it came out, not a ton of people saw it. It wasn't a huge success or anything. But it's the type of movie now where there are some people who can literally quote the movie from beginning to end, every single line, and they're obsessed with it, and they watch it, they still watch it every year or whatever for the last 20 years. And it's just kind of like one of those things, you know what I mean? For some reason, like The Princess Bride, or I'm trying to think of some other films right now, has that kind of effect on people. But for some reason, that they just love that film, and some people are obsessed with it, and they still go and cosplay it today, So,
it's just if it connects.
Yeah, I think Shenmue's. Yeah. So Shenmue's definitely that kind of game where it connects to people on a different level, like you said, emotionally. It's something different about that game. So.
Yeah, I've got that with both Shenmue and with Twin Peaks, and unfortunately, the new Twin Peaks kind of ruined my old feelings I had for the original.
Really? No. See, what you should do is just go back, watch all the old ones again, and then kind of recapture that flame for Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try it again in a couple of years. Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't seen the new one yet. So you're telling me I shouldn't see the new one? Is that what you're telling me?
I seem to be in the minority. What the original one, what I liked about it was like its quirkiness, its friendliness, its warmth, and just a little underbelly of darkness. In the new one, all the darkness is up in your face. It's cold, it's sterile, it's unfeeling. It seems to go nowhere. It feels like a David Lynch film where I wanted more Twin Peaks, but that's a different topic.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll take that into consideration as well.
I'm loving Stranger Things, by the way. I literally just got done watching, I think, episodes 5 and 6 of season 2 right before we recorded this, or are recording this today.
It's a good show.
It's fantastic.
Great. We love it too.
My wife and I were actually comparing it to Twin Peaks and some of the little similarities. Was there a specific point in time, Corey, where you realized you were part of something special with this? Like, was there, a tipping point or a moment that sticks out in your mind where something happened and you're like, okay, like getting the gravity of what you're part of?
This project's going to be with me for a while.
I don't know if there was like an aha moment, but I think it had to be after the project, when I started getting fan reaction and I started getting even just strange things like stuff showing up in my house when people knew it was me and my wife's anniversary, and they would like send flowers to me and stuff, and I'm like, wow. Oh, wow. You know what I mean? Like, wait, first of all, how do you know where I live? Weird. Second of all, wow, you decided to take some time and money out of your day to do, you know what I mean? Like, I think it was just kind of like when people started talking about it a lot, and then I started getting some interviews and really hearing a lot of fan talk and reaction, and just when you guys, people like you guys would contact me and want to do some interviews, and then I think it really is the fans itself that kind of made me realize, oh wow, yeah, this is something big, yeah, it's not really the promotion or the or anything to do with Sega itself at the time, or the let's see, or the sales or anything. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't any of that for me. It wasn't like, oh wow, this is it. No, I think it just kind of like trickled in over time. Really, just kind of interacting with people out there in the world, the Shenmue world, that kind of made me realize. So it wasn't a sudden aha moment. It's just this long burn over time, where I think that again, it's kind of like you realize that it is almost like a cult movie. That kind of stuff does take time to see and realize.
Yeah. Before we go any further, I think there is a delay of a little bit, so if we laugh at inappropriate moments or cut you off or something, it's because of the delay.
Okay. Yeah, that's, well, when you're using Skype, it's par for the course, I guess.
Although it might be gone now. Anyways.
Yeah, I think it's gone. Because after we said that, you left immediately.
Yeah.
So once you signed on for the project, and you started actually working on the project, there really wasn't a game like this prior to Shenmue. What was the mood while working on this project? Did it feel special at the time, like you were doing the first of something?
Let's see. Yes. Well, the thing is that, yeah, when I got a chance to personally experience the game, I know some people probably heard that when they gave me a copy of the game for me just to play and enjoy myself, I got the Japanese dub with English sub. Mm-hmm. And I of course I experienced the same things when people talk about being able to walk about the room, being able to interact with something as simple as your furniture, or go through every room in the house or anything like that. And you think, oh wow, okay, great, let's see where this goes, And yeah, being a part of the project and realizing that when you go down a street and you take a left instead of a right, well, different things happen, or different times of night, you know what I mean? You have to do a different script for, when you get there and it's at this particular time of day, or it is this day if you get all the way into, I don't know, December or Christmas or something like that, and you realize, of course, time makes a difference. Of course it does. Weather makes a difference, and So being a part of that project and missing that, you thought, oh man, yeah, this is great. I mean, I remember some games experimented a little bit with time, and some games experimented with being able to go into a room with a toilet and be like, nothing useful here. Yeah. If you guys remember, like, and then let's see,
a toilet. I'll never need.
Yeah, right. Or but just being able to kind of interact with everything in your environment, right? Being able to open up drawers and see clothes in there and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or open up your cabinet and see a Dreamcast in there, and be able to do that as well. Or go into an arcade and play some old Sega games. How awesome is that?
Or talk to any person you see and have them be voiced. Was this the first game?
Yeah, that's true, right? Any person. I don't remember. Do you guys remember? I don't remember ever playing a game where you could interact with anybody.
Yeah, I can't think of a game before it where every character was voiced.
And like, my big game prior to this would have been Ocarina of Time, where it's the exact opposite. It's intentionally not voiced, and based on your experience. And then I get to this situation where I'm playing a game where I'm also getting the experience, but there's also this realistic aspect to it, and it was just blowing me away at the time, and still today.
So yeah, I mean, you guys asked me if there was a moment where I realized that this was definitely something different, and yeah, being able to interact with anybody on the street. Yeah, I've said before, when I got into the studio, they would give me these, book of a script, and I realized it's because he's going and he's talking to other people. So yeah, when there's people on the street, they add their lines in as well. So that's why they would give me these books every day. And I just thought that is definitely something when I realized that it is different. You know what I mean? Like it's not like there are just some characters that you can interact with and some not. Yeah. But instead, I you go in there and you get like a Moby Dick size script every day. You're like, holy crap, this is something different for sure.
Right. Well, you mentioned that you played the game way back then. Like, have you played it many times beyond that? Like, did you ever play it with your own voice in it? Like, do you have a working Dreamcast right now that you could play it if you wanted to?
I don't have a working Dreamcast. I think I should just go pick up another one. There's I know a couple of guys who do vintage gaming, and there's actually one not too far from where I am. Maybe I should just go pick one up, because unfortunately mine quit working a while back. But I did play my game with my voice, and that was interesting, but fun as well at the same time. And just trying to go all the way through and try to find all the secrets and all that kind of stuff. That's just what you do as a game fan, right?
Yeah. Did you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, playing my own voice is a little trippy. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's kind of, especially when some of the intonations and stuff like that, just the way I say things comes across on the screen. Mm. So it's a little weird having yourself talk at you. You know. So.
Did you ever get a chance to talk to the Japanese voice actor for Ryo and like compare notes and like discuss how you characterized him the same or differently or anything?
Yeah, no. When I was working with the team there in Japan, we kind of discussed how he did things and how we should do things, and some things we wanted to kind of keep the same and the same. I guess sort of the same flavor, you know what I mean? Like we kind of want to kind of keep it a little bit like this. And I've mentioned before in other interviews and stuff like that how it was a little bit of a dance that we had to do back and forth because we still wanted to have this very Japanese character, this very Japanese feeling to the game. But we also kind of struggled a little bit with how we're going to how it sounds in English or how American audience would react to it, and I kind of feel like, you know, as people know, yeah, we kind of stuck to a more Japanese approach and kind of let the chips fall where they will, and that's part of why the game is the way it is. But yeah, that's kind of something that we kind of had kind of mold ourselves with the Japanese directorial team or the team that I was working with at the time. And yeah, we had a director and a translator and a script supervisor and all that kind of stuff. And it said, okay, well, and they always showed me, oh, this is how he did this scene, and how would you do it? And so yeah, I put in my own input and I did my own stuff, and but yeah, I also had the opportunity to not only play the game, but they would also show me how he did the scene. Or what's funny, how we did the fighting scenes or the fighting sounds. They really wanted that to kind of be like how he did it. And I don't know if fans had an opportunity to play both games, if they could actually hear the similarities. And in that case, I almost just did an impersonation or a copy of what the actor did, because I think that they kind of worked with him a lot on those scenes and kind of wanted these very specific sounds. So they said, I think, we really want these sounds. I was like, oh yeah, I'm all over that, because, being a martial artist myself and watching lots of kung fu films and playing lots of video games, I'm like, I do that anyway, just for fun. So I'm all over that.
Yeah.
And
that's one thing I can agree with, is that your fighting sounds, they sounded very Japanese. That's interesting that you did just like kind of mimic his, because there's very Japanese sounds in there, like a or yeah, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lots of good.
Yeah, particularly stuff like. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, particularly stuff like that. They really wanted those specific sounds, and I'm like, okay, if you want me to do an impersonation of that, I can definitely do it, and so we did, yeah.
Nice. I guess for both the English and Japanese voice actors, what experiences did you take away from working with the rest of your colleagues? So, like Eric Kelso and Liesel and things like that, or people like that?
Yeah. What did I take away from them? As far as the acting itself, or just working with personalities and all that kind of stuff?
Either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's great is that we worked with so many people on this project that I did get a chance to, as far as professionally is concerned, I did get a chance to see where different people are coming from, their professional experiences in life, and where they lived and worked. Eric Kelso had lived and worked in Japan for a long time, and his approach to things, and how he worked professionally with the team, and how he approached his voiceover challenges with the characters that he played, and so that was stuff like that is really, as I was a young man at the time at 20, how old was I? 20, 21, and kind of seeing all that was great. Being a long time stage actor, I was kind of used to doing all these kinds of different characters and stuff like that, but I hadn't really gone that much in that direction. But again, being a gamer myself and just kind of, me and my friends just messing around and doing what we think voices would be, what kids do. I could just kind of bring all that experience to what I had at the time. But as far as people are concerned, oh man, great people. I mean, if people have had any sort of contact with Eric Kelso, have ever spent any time with him, everybody talks about what a great guy he is and how cool and like down to earth, and it's just the kind of guy you want to hang out with and have a beer with. And he's just one of those guys who's like suddenly your best friend when you meet him. You know what I mean? And Paul Lucas, he could just never stop laughing. Man, when he's in the studio, it's kind of hard to breathe sometimes, because for some reason he's just hilarious when we're working together. I don't know. I think he's just the kind of guy who likes to cut loose, make people laugh, and kind of break down those walls or those barriers, and then everybody's just feeling happy when you're working. You know what I mean? Liesel, love Liesel. It's like we still keep in contact this day, because she's great and she's always running around and doing great stuff. And we did an interview. I don't know how many people have seen that one, but we did an interview. Actually, we did all of us, Paul Lucas, Liesel, Eric, and me. And if anybody's seen or heard that, you can really get a taste of how we all know and like each other. So that's great, because a lot of times when you do a project, it's just kind of like, you got a coworker and, they're nice and friendly, and, or you don't get along, which is even worse. But, but yeah, you kind of just know them, and you're like, oh yeah, they're good people. But when luckily the people that we were working with were just awesome, and somehow we could all be friends and go out and have fun together, and it really did feel like not just co-workers, but really somehow a group of friends all somehow got the same job. You know what I mean? And are all working together somehow, some way, some magic way. But that's how it felt. You know what I mean? Like we were just all happy to be there. And it's just, when you hear Liesel's coming in, you're like, oh yes, it's gonna be a good day.
Awesome.
What were your thoughts on the demand for the English dub in Japan, so Shenmue US as it was titled?
Like all the Japanese people wanted to hear the English version. That sort of phenomenon.
Yeah. Generally, that's the other way. It's usually the Western world wanting the Japanese dub with the English subtitles, and this was the flip side of that.
Yeah, again, a little mind-blowing for me, a little kind of like, I don't understand, like, why would you want that, But, I'm not sure, what is your take on that? I'm not sure why they wanted that. I mean, I really did try to give this character, a Japanese feel, right? So I did try to give him a very, I've described it before as a very stoic type character, and that's the way that I kind of, the way that I voiced him, the way that I acted him, you know what I mean? Very, it's not something that a Western audience is really used to. I think a Western audience is not used to. So. And I was kind of wrestling with that in my head, and I thought, is it because of the way that I acted it, or is it just because, and I thought, like, wow, I don't know, it's a Japanese. Yeah, so I was a little kind of taken aback, and I don't know, what is your take on it?
I think it was a combination of curiosity and marketing. that's kind of our next question for you, is about the marketing side of it. But I think they put so much effort into wanting this game and trying to make this game be a success, that the Japanese public really had this hype about it, for lack of a better term. And once they got their hands on it, and then obviously the English version was released later, a little bit later, it was another way for them to experience this game, which the game in itself is an experience. And if there's something they can, get a different version of this and have a different experience with it, I think that's what caused the demand for it, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of drove that.
Yeah. Plus, I think just a lot of people in Japan think English is cool.
Yeah, that was kind of my imagination. Yeah, and I remember what you were talking about, where they kind of almost kind of created that demand, right? Okay, so but when it became kind of popular the way that it did, you know what I mean? Well, like you said, it was kind of a curiosity, but I don't know. I just I hope that somehow I did have something to do with that. Maybe it's because maybe a Japanese audience would appreciate the way that I try to bring that character, for I think just everybody in general. You know what I mean? Like I didn't voice the character for Americans. You know what I mean? Right. Like I just kind of thought I'm gonna do it this way because I think it should be done this way. Mm-hmm.
I think that added to my enjoyment of is how Japanese Ryo felt. He felt like a classic Japanese stoic character, something you would see in like a black and white film from earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It may have been I was probably on a run of those films at the time. Who knows? It's probably going to, well, at the time it was probably the video store going out and renting those films. But I just kind of felt like I'm gonna.
He's like a modern day samurai. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt, right? Because it's. Because of his background, his family background. I mean, his father, Hazuki Sensei, and with the dojo attached or in his property, and I just with Fukuhara-san there, and I just felt like, oh yeah, this is this guy's life. Like he has been trained since he was probably able to walk, and I just kind of felt like, yeah, this has a different kind of, that old style feel, right? An old, a warrior who's been trained since he was a child, and yeah, I felt like I want to voice this character for the world, not just. I know I'm the English version, and I don't know if I knew that it was going to be like a North American. I didn't know. I don't know if I can't recall if I knew it was going to Europe at the time. I think maybe I did, but I just kind of felt like I think I'm going to voice this character for what I think he is, not just for North America or not just for the United States for that matter, just because I'm from the United States. I think, maybe a lot of people from the United States think that is the world, but I just kind of felt like, yeah, I'm not going to make it just for the U.S. No, I'm going to make it for everybody. Anybody who ever gets their hands on this game, no matter where they're from. If they're from, whatever, Saudi Arabia, if they're from Australia, if they're from whatever, I want them to experience this game or this character like how I think that he should be, Yeah.
Were you aware of if there was any intention to do a Shenmue 2 US, so like the English dub for the Dreamcast in Japan?
Well, they made me aware of the I guess you could say the work, the research, the character development. They made me aware of that while I was there. Even for the first game, they kind of showed me some sneaks and peeks. at what was going on, which was fantastic, and I realized that they indeed did have plans to go for a long time in this game. So maybe I just kind of assumed that I'd be hopefully a part of the projects in the future if I kept all my ducks in a row, and maybe they liked the work that I did. Always tried to I always just try to do the work, you know what I mean? So hopefully that I would be a part of those projects in the future, and I kind of assumed that they would keep going, and I just thought that we'd be making 10 of these games over, one every couple of years or so. But I guess I didn't know specifically if I was going to be coming back for 2. Is that what you mean?
But I mean, no, I mean more along the lines of, like, once you were doing 2, did they tell you if they had the intention of releasing that Shenmue, like the English dub with the Japanese subtitles in Japan? Did they let you know if they had the intention of doing
I see what you're saying. No, they didn't tell me specifically about that. Yeah, actually, I don't recall that as well. I don't recall any of that.
What's your next one?
What were your thoughts on all the marketing that went into this? Did that kind of help bring you towards the realization that this is something that could be huge? Because there was a lot of, like, how creative they got with the demo, like what Shenmue, where you could walk through most of Dobuita. What were your thoughts and feelings on that?
Well, I thought they presented the game the way I thought that they should have. You know what I mean? I kind of felt like almost as if they just kind of showed people what was possible, that the game would speak for itself. You know what I mean? So I kind of felt like, I think that is good. I remember at the time thinking, yeah, I think this is what you want to show people. That you can do these things, that it feels, and I described this before too. Sometimes when particularly at that time, nowadays of course it's different, but at the time you could play a game and you can kind of wander around a little bit, but you kind of have these parameters, or I don't know, almost fences, if you want to say, you know what I mean, and kind of go from one place to another, and that, I mean, that's just how it was, but I kind of felt like, yeah, you want to show people that I kind of compare it to a book, right? So when you open up a book and you start to read, you kind of leave your own world behind, right? So when you play this game, you kind of have this sort of tunnel vision where you almost just leave your living room or wherever you might be and be able to wander around, like you said, Dobuita or something like that. So I felt the kind of marketing that they did, I thought, yeah, that's it, As far as knowing it was going to be huge, yeah, I don't know.
You kind of answered that one already earlier.
Yeah. I just feel like I think it's great when it starts to pop up on magazine covers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or I think it showed up on we still had TV Guide way back in the day, right? And I was like, crap, there's there it is. So when I see stuff like that, or when I see people talking about it on I think it was television. I don't remember if it was on what was it on? Anyway, I remember it being just on something I was randomly watching someday. People were talking about it, and when you're watching YouTube, people are still talking about it being one of the most anticipated games, or the most wanted sequels to happen of all time, and it happens to be number 1 on the charts, and you're like, wow, great. When you see stuff like that, I think it's less to do with what they did, because I kind of feel like a lot of marketing sometimes happens with media. For me being in the business for a long time, it could be anything, man. It could be a stage production. It could be a musical. It could be a video game. It could be a movie. I mean, sometimes they hype a movie so much, and then it's at theaters and nothing happens. You know what I mean? Like, right. It has one day, and then the reviews come out, and then nobody goes and sees it. You know what I mean? So when I looked at the marketing and stuff like that, I thought, yeah, again, what I said earlier, I thought, yeah, this is what you want to show people, because this is what makes the game special. But
have you had a chance to visit the real life Dobuita or Yokosuka Harbor or anything?
No, I haven't, and I really, I really admire the people who have gone on these Shenmue journeys. You know what I mean? When they go to Japan and then they sail on over to China and they check out the actual places. And I've spoken to these people who have done that, and I'm like, man, that is amazing. You know what I mean? It kind of inspires me. I think I kind of want to do that someday. Oh, yeah. I think I want to take a Shenmue trip. I'll take it with my wife and daughter, and I'll show my daughter.
Does she like to travel?
The actual places, you know what I mean? Oh, my daughter loves to travel. She's a travel fiend. Yeah, she it's great because she's one of those kids that likes to try different food. You know what I mean? Yes. She's not afraid. Well, she's half Filipino anyway, so she's probably used to eating stuff that would make other kids cry or throw up or something. You know what I mean? But she's great with. First of all, she's easy to travel with, which is also unusual for children. And yeah, she loves the experience of going to new places all the time. So yeah, she's a great travel companion, and so I think that'd probably be a great idea. We'll do a Shenmue vacation one year.
You should do that, yeah, and document it on your Facebook.
Has your daughter shown any interest in playing the game, or has she played the game with you?
Since my system had crapped out on me, we have not had the opportunity to actually have her play the game. She definitely wants to play the game, so I told her, I'm like, okay, when 3 comes out, we'll get another system, so we'll be able to play all the games that we want, and we'll be able to play Shenmue as well. Yeah, she's actually pretty excited. She definitely wants to play it.
Or she could just do what everyone else in her generation does and watch somebody else play it on YouTube.
Oh, I know, right? Oh man, see, that's when I know I'm getting a little bit older. Yeah. When I see kids doing stuff, and I'm thinking, why are you doing that? Yeah. Come on, are you kidding me? Get the game, play it yourself. What are you doing? Well, that's when I know I'm getting older.
Hopefully, by the time 3 comes out, you won't need to purchase a Dreamcast, because hopefully 1 and 2 will be released.
Maybe even tomorrow they'll announce that, I hope.
I know. Well, let's keep our ears open tomorrow. We'll see what happens. And I tell people too. People ask me, "Oh, is Liesl coming back, or is Eric coming back?" And I'm like, "Hey, you guys made 3 happen. If you want to see it happen, then you just demand it, and it'll magically happen. I don't know how you guys do it, but you do it." So yeah, same thing with HD, right? And I'm like, you guys just need to go get a campaign going on. Oh man, I don't know how they do it. They're just like extremely dedicated, hardworking. This is why I love you guys. I love all you guys out there. But yeah, so. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can make it happen. I'll campaign. You guys campaign. Everybody out there campaign. Let's get 1 and 2 HD on
so
on the new
Corey
system.
Doesn't have to buy a new Dreamcast.
I know, right? So I don't have to go down to my local store. Come on, guys, let's do it.
If you get one, every time you turn it on, those VMU batteries are going to be dead, and you're just going to get that. You're going to have to reset the clock, and it's just a hassle. Like, let's get this Kickstarter done. We'll raise a few million. We got this.
Yeah. Oh, I remember those days. That was great, wasn't it?
Yep. When you guys, I guess more with the second game probably, did you find there was any sense of concern over whether or not this was going to be a commercial success?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, of course, because the whole idea, we need money, right? I mean, for Sega to make the game, of course, it was Sega at the time. If in order to make the game, they want to make money, of course, right? And I need to feed my kids and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you want it to be a commercial success. But to be honest with you, when it comes to Shenmue, I really just feel like I just want to do good work, and I think that's kind of the project in general, with all the effort and all of the research and all of the. It's kind of like an idea playground. You know what I mean? Shenmue is, and it's kind of particularly at the time, it's very experimental with. What can we do? What are people going to actually play? How can we make this world happen? So I think everybody involved in Shenmue really is just trying to make something good. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds weird because you would think, well, of course you want to make something good because if it's good, then the fans are going to play it. But really, a lot of people are concerned about money and what's going to sell and what can we put into a package that people are going to just kind of switch their minds off and play, and what's going to sell 10 million copies in the first weekend or 500 million copies in the first weekend. And so, I mean, a lot of people do view that. I don't think it's so much the same with Shenmue. I think really seriously people are just interested in making something good. And that goes all the way down to the voice actors as well. I talked about how, we would get into the studio and have a great time and all that stuff, and that's great. But we really were, and we talked about this before, even amongst ourselves, I think we really were concerned generally just to make something awesome. And I don't know if that's because we had such a good rapport with each other, or maybe they really felt the game that I did, that when I saw it and when I played it, I thought, oh, this is great, and let's do something special here. I honestly, I can't speak for them, but we've had these discussions in the past, and they feel that that they wanted to put some extra effort into the game as well. So like I said, that goes from the voice actors all the way up to Ryo Hazuki. That we wanted to make something special. We realized it was special, but of course, at the end of the day, we all want to get paid too. You know what I mean? What can I say? Right. But I think another thing too. I mean, I've said this before. I don't think we're hoping or expecting it's going to be a blockbuster. You know what I mean? It's not it's not an Avengers. I've said this before. It's kind of like at the time I was talking about some of the independent movies that came out, and I was like, oh, maybe it's like Birdman. When Michael Keaton did with Birdman, right? It's a little strange, it's a little quirky, but it's really kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So.
It's a nice Donnie Darko or something.
Yeah, like a Donnie Darko. Yeah, exactly.
What's your next one, Andrew?
Do you have any, or do you remember any distinct differences between doing the recordings for Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2?
Distinct differences? No, I don't think so. I mean, we just kind of knew what we were doing a little bit more. It took a little bit less time. We were a little bit more coordinated on the second one, which is kind of like with all projects, you know what I mean? We like, it was the same people involved, basically the same actors, and so we just kind of had a good flow. Not to say that we didn't have in the first one, because of course over there they're very, they got it down. They got their schedules. They got everything is kind of a perfect machine running over there as far as we were concerned. Everything was great and professional and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just kind of felt like, okay, here we are again. we can kind of knock it out of the park a little bit, I don't know, easier, a little bit faster, a little bit more grease in the wheel, I suppose.
I can't remember.
But as far as distinct differences, I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't remember the timeline between, like, was there a point where you assumed you weren't coming back because you didn't think they were going to do an English dub of 2, and then you were surprised to find that you were coming back because of the Xbox, or?
I'm trying to put myself back there, right back in the day. No, I think I still assumed that I'd be coming back even without a Dreamcast. I don't know why I thought that. I just kind of. But see, the thing is that it was a bit of a surprise for me. I was actually doing another job over in Guam, and I was doing a performing job, and I ended up rolling over my ankle. And I had this huge swollen ankle, and I couldn't do my job. And I was like, oh, crap, well, what the F am I going to do now? And, like, literally they called me up, I think it was the next week or the following week, and said, hey, actually, we need you back for Shenmue 2. I was like, oh, really? So, you know what I mean? Like, it's always kind of a bit of a surprise. Because they're you know how they are. They're very secretive. They're very things are very kind of hush hush. And then they call you and they're like, hey, we need you. Okay, all right, here I come.
let me hobble on over there.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, man, this is great. I can't work, but now I can go use my voice. So let's do that. So yeah, it is kind of a surprise, and I'm sure it'll be the same thing. They did do the big announcement of Shenmue 3. Things are a little bit different this time, but I'm sure it'll be the same thing. They'll call me up and be like, hey, what are you doing next week? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so yeah, I kind of thought that I'd be coming back even without a Dreamcast. But like I said, it's always kind of a surprise when they give me a call and tell me to come on over.
Yeah. Do you have any, I guess, from either a gift from them or something you've received along the way, any favorite piece of memorabilia you've received?
Yeah, they gave me some, I guess I should say some kind of, how can I say this? Some kind of secret shots from the game. They kind of built some, I think some story ideas, some kind of connections that they have in the future. They gave me these kind of almost what you would call screenshots that they printed out, and they put these in these really nice, these really great layouts with these pictures and everything. Oh, nice. That was really cool.
So were they did drawn storyboards? Or were they like renders?
Yeah, they were renders. Yeah, they did the whole thing. They kind of made these really cool shots with everything. It wasn't hand drawn. It's like they did the whole thing. They also did give me one of the watches.
That so far?
I don't think you could say that.
Let's assume that.
Well, you know what it is. I'll tell. You know what it is. I think it's really more story arc involved. So, and they ended up giving me one of those watches as well. One of the Shenmue watches, which is great.
I think you posted a picture of that recently, didn't you?
Yeah, and that's also fantastic. That's one of my little treasures that I have from the game as well. So yeah, they're really great people, and they're really cool, and they'll give me like I said, they give me little insights, little hints and stuff like that. So
nice. Were there any, I guess, kind of insights in the topic of insights or hints? Was there anything that you recorded for like the first or second game that you recognized that would have led to a storyline that didn't get cut, or like some sort of comedic situation that Ryo was in that simply just was edited out of the game?
That didn't make it. No, I don't think that they actually had me record anything like that I can recall off the top of my head right now. Certainly no future events that I English dubbed. You know what I mean? There's some stuff hidden out there, and I'll let you guys kind of search the web for that. But there's apparently some hacking that you can do on some of the discs that do. See, this is not my area of expertise, so I'll let you guys go out there in the webs, find all that. Yeah, you guys let me know. But
into this Skype call.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's nothing that I recall doing an English dub that did any of that. There's some stuff that you guys can go out there and find. But I don't recall anything that didn't end up. You know what I mean? I think everything that I dubbed went into the game. So
yeah, there was no like alternate take where they said, "Okay, Corey, here's where Ryo kills Fukusan for telling Ino-san about his plan."
Right. Well, he's really the double agent who's been inserted into the family for all these years, right?
Yeah, I never trusted.
No, it's funny. I was talking. Right. I was talking about. My ultimate fan theory is that Ryo Hazuki is actually Hazuki from the future, goes back in the past and has a clone of himself unaltered that he can just raise on his own.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh wait, I guess they already did that storyline, didn't they? Somewhere, I can't remember where. But yeah, I thought it was great to come up with my own fan theories to. Yeah, fanfic, exactly. And I don't know, maybe I'll post some of them and really freak some people out and be like, yeah, you guys just figure out whether I'm kidding or not.
All right.
And I guess the final question that we have, just kind of a funny one here. Recording the when you're drinking the Coke, was there any method acting there, or was you just did they add sound effects in post, or are you cracking a can there?
Well, I know a lot of people know that probably. They're starting to get them here too in the States, but Japan has the greatest vending machines the world has ever seen. And, you know, you can get your hot drinks and your cold drinks in the same one. And every day when I showed up to Sega, I got myself a nice, you know, depending on how I was feeling, hot or cold tea. And, that's where I was drawing my inspiration from Japanese vending machines, because it's just a wonderful world of vending machines over there in Japan. But as far as the sound effects go, yeah, they were adding those in later. And that's another thing too. I was kind of doing a little bit of a copy or an impersonation of some of the Japanese voice acting on that one too.
Nice.
So yeah, when I was just doing that, that kind of stuff. I took some inspiration, let's just say, from the game that was built, and the wonderful vending machines, and you can get anything. People know this. Yep. You can get anything from ladies' underwear to a nice cold Coca-Cola, umbrellas. You know, sex bots coming up in the future here real soon.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
It's going to make the world a less stressed out place. It's going to be great.
All right. Well, that's it and we're going to do a big reveal here, part 1 of our interview with Corey Marshall. So we'll do some social media plugs here, Corey. Where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, well, you guys can, I think probably the best place right now is Facebook, right? A lot of people contact me on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Just Google me, I'll be there. And, I don't know, I kind of float around here and there. You guys can find me on Twitter as well. But, I think a lot of people, I think, are... surprised at how much I respond to people on Facebook and stuff like that. Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, I do have a Twitter handle, but all of my stuff is on Facebook. I'm at Corey Marshall VO Pro on Twitter, but Facebook is where I'm at. You guys just find me there.
Yeah, perfect. And we can be found at Shenmue AM2 Pod on Twitter, Shenmue AM2 Podcast at gmail.com, Shenmue AM2 Podcast on Facebook. We have a group and a page. And yeah, obviously here on iTunes and youtube.com/Shenmue AM2 Podcast. So huge thanks to Corey for doing this with us. We really appreciate it.
We'd like to thank this week's sponsor, Bunkado Antiques.
Do you have a terrible family secret and a family heirloom that you need hidden until your son can come at a future date and get it? Shop Bunkado Antiques.